Hi everyone. Today we bring you two weekly insights on creation and assigning of wind loads. Capricorn Technologies, a wind zero company having a legacy of over 3 decades, has now become a partner of choice for AC industry. Capricorn Technologies is one of the biggest platinum partners of Autodesk and Bentley, along with authorized training center. Today, with over 10 offices across India and 300 plus inspired team members, Capricorn is serving over 20,000 customers in the building, infrastructure, manufacturing, and a large number of other industries. Myself, Dipali Arora, Solution Specialist in Structures at Capricorn Technologies, New Delhi, will present you with weekly insights on creation and assigning of wind load. In this video, we will learn configuration settings, which includes creating wind definition, rectangular clad building, unclad frame buildings, and assigning of wind load. To add a wind load definition to your model, use the following procedure. In the load definition and dialog box, which is this box, click on wind definitions, click on add new wind definitions, and dialog box will open. And in this dialog box, from the custom menu, you can select the IS code you want to apply the wind load. I will choose IS 875 Part 3 2015. Click on this option add. Now close this. Now click on this option wind 1. Click on this option add. This dialog now displays intensity and exposure tabs, if you can see over here. Now on the exposure tab, type the factor value. Suppose I want to consider 0.95 of the total wind on my model. So I will write over here 0.95 as a factor, and I will click on add over here. And now what I will do is, in this intensity, I will click on this generate option. Okay. So first of all, we have to specify general information for the wind load. Firstly, that is to select the type of structure from the drop down list. That is this, whether you want it, whether your building is a rectangular clad building or an unclad building. So you can select the options from here. I will select rectangular clad building. Now type the structure height and ground level elevation values. My maximum height of the structure is 25 meters. And now type the highest interval for intensity to use for developing the height versus intensity value for the wind load definition. It is this. The default value is 5 meters. This means at every 5 meters of interval or wind intensity will be changed. Now moving on to basic wind speed. Whether you can specify the wind parameters for the wind speed by either selecting a city from the drop down list, that is this. For defining the wind speed, you can either select from the drop down option. Suppose I'll be selecting Delhi. So if you have noticed, automatically wind speed has changed. Like if I show you again, suppose I'm doing it Agra. So it is 47 meters now. Or you can do is you can select this use custom option and you can write your values here. I will not check this custom option. So suppose I'll be selecting this Delhi option and its value is 50 meters. Okay. And now moving on to specify the risk coefficient factor, which is this factor, by either selecting the class of structure, that is this class of structure, by clicking the drop down option, whether it is a class 1 building, class 2, class 3. Suppose I'll be selecting as class 4, other kind of building. For this, you can please cross check the values as per IS 875 part 3. Everything is mentioned over there. This whole worksheet or whole applying of wind load is as per IS code. So now moving on to topography factor, that is K3 value, which is this. You have to specify this value as per your use and as per the IS 875 part 3. Now specify the importance of the structure by either selecting importance of structure by this drop down value, drop down option, that is industry structure, if it is industrial structure, if it is an emergency service structure or other structures. So automatically this value will be changed on the basis of these options. Now moving on to this rectangular clad building. After doing all the changes in the common area, we'll move to this rectangular clad building. First, we will see design wind pressure. What we have to provide over here is wind direction, KD factor value. We have to provide area averaging factor and combination factor. So you have to provide this value as per your manual calculations, and accordingly this chart will be prepared. Design wind pressure chart will be prepared. Now these are the rectangular clad building options, in which it is written we have to specify the wind direction, whether we want to apply the wind force in positive X or positive Z direction, or minus X or minus Z direction. Suppose I want to apply force in positive X direction. And now moving on to this building dimensions. By default, the building dimensions are calculated based on the minimum and maximum global coordinates of the structure along the X, Z and Y global axis respectively. You may also type the length along LX, LZ and H dimension values as per your need. Now moving on to the coefficient factors, like if you want to consider any pressure coefficient, then you may click on this pressure coefficient, and here you can define all these values, which is pressure coefficient on face. Like I have selected, suppose face A. Face A is this, face B is that side, C is this, and D is this. Suppose I want to, first I am defining for face A. Now external pressure coefficient, either you can use the code calculated value, or you can click on this custom option and you can provide your value as per your manual calculations. Suppose I'll be selecting this code calculated value. Now moving on to this internal pressure coefficient. If there is any internal pressure coefficient, then you may click on this internal pressure coefficient. Now opening, if it is less than 5% or between 5 to 20, select accordingly. Values will be changed, or you can also select this use minus CPI. Accordingly it will calculate the values. Like if you want to use the force coefficient factor, then you have to click on force coefficient, and then you have to mention this force coefficient over here, and this, which is according to the clause 7.4.2 IS 875 part 3. So this was like all about rectangular clad building, and I'll be adding this wind type 1. I'll click on OK. See, automatically intensity and height is calculated. Now I'll click on add. So an exposure factor I'll take as 0.95. I'll click on add and close. I have added. Okay. Now I will this exposure factor I will assign to the view. Okay. Now moving on to creating load case 1 for the rectangular clad building, which is acting on positive X direction. Or I can also change the name of this. Suppose I will say wind X. Sorry, wind in X, positive X. Okay, modify, close. Now adding the wind load case, I'll click on this load case detail. I'll click on our option add, and from here I will select load type as wind if it is there. Yeah, and I'll give the title as wind. No, I'll say WL plus X, which means in X direction. I'll click on add. Now My 6 number load type is WL plus X, means in X direction. I'll click on add option over here. Now from here, I'll click on this wind load, which is, I have selected the type as rectangular clad building. So rectangular, X is windward force, which is in positive X direction. And I'll say factor as 1 only. And now I will define my ranges. So for that, I'll click on select and select the node cursor. I want from bottom 0 to my highest point is 25. So I will mention over here 0 to 25 and I'll click on add. Now close. See, my wind in positive X direction is assigned. I hope you guys had an insightful session. We shall be presenting with how to resolve errors in your structure in our next insight. For more videos and updates, do subscribe our channel Capricorn Technologies Private Limited and like and comment if you like the insight. We would be delighted to hear from you. Please reach out to us for any suggestions, query or topic you would want to discuss. See you next week. Thank you for watching the video.